How's it going? Welcome to another episode of Lost Like Mike. I am your host, Mike Gonzalez. Thank you for all the people that are subscribing to the show and everybody that comes by and visits, and everybody that send me messages on lostlikemike@gmail.com. I appreciate that. I pretty much utilize a video format of posting my podcast on YouTube, but I also use Buzzsprout, and they circulate my podcast on a multitude of platforms, quite a few. I forget how many, but it includes like Spotify and Apple and just different ones. So I'm also thankful for that. This past week, I haven't been paying attention to the numbers, but they have been exponentially kind of going up on Buzzsprout, especially. The reports are saying, and it may have something to do with the fact that I'm over 100 episodes now. So people that are finding me randomly on different platforms are finding quite a few episodes to sort of sample, or there's more episodes out there to be landed on randomly by different people. Anyway, I'm not gonna overanalyze it, but I was very happy to see, quite a large number of people downloading the episodes on the latest report. So without overthinking about it, I'll just leave it at that. This week coming up is before we meet again, I'm going to be celebrating my birthday. I mean, use that term very loosely, but I'll be having a birthday, and so birthdays are on the brain right now. They're on my mind. Well, before I get into that, I did want to make mention that I finally booked a doctor's appointment. I know I'm still talking at a low volume. I have a doctor's appointment for a specialist. The soonest they could see me was at the end of August, so about a month from now. But they're going to look at my throat and check my vocal cords and see if I have any nodules. How do you say it? Nodules. I love it when I want to say a word that I'm not 100% on. To see if I have any polyps or anything on my vocal cords. Nodules. Anyway, whatever. Point is, I'm gonna finally get it looked at and approached. Excuse me while I do this. Anyway, so there was an interesting thing about that. My wife had been, she does a lot for me, a tremendous amount. I'm not going to say she doesn't. She does quite a bit. Sorry. Oops. I'm falling over. So, I apologize for that. She does a tremendous amount for me. I'm not going to lie. She does, with taking care of my daughter, and she helps with the household. I try to carry my weight. You know what I mean? I do my part, but depends on what time a day that you ask her about that part of it. But I really do try to contribute. But the there's a couple of key things that happen. And for example, I had gone to the doctor and they gave me a referral paper to set my appointment, right? And my wife has a tendency, she's really like this, she's really good at correspondence, like not as in like a secretary, but she enjoys shopping, she enjoys giving, doing sort of making appointments, calling places and things like that. Or rather, she's good at it. She does it for her mom and her aunt and for different people. She finds herself doing it. And so many times she's offered, hey, I can make that appointment for you. I can give her that call. She'll handle those things. And you begin to take that, not necessarily for granted, but you count on it. You expect it. There's a bit of entitlement where I began to be like, with my dentist and this doctor's appointment, different things, being like, like, why haven't you done it already? You know what I mean? And not in a rude way. I guess there's no way not to be rude by saying that. But, it's when somebody is wanting to be that person and wanting to handle all of those things, and then when it doesn't get done, you can't be mad about it because they're doing you that favor, right? And it caused a little bit of a problem because, before I could catch myself, I did give a little bit of attitude towards that subject. And then, it's one of those things where and it's a very valid point where the person says, you don't recognize any of this positive things that I do for you, and then I don't do something for you and you want to make a big deal about it. And the whole thing about it is, I do tell her I appreciate her for the things that she does. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But it's one of those transverse things where, here's the thing. As a human being, I could tell you all day, I really appreciate you. I think you're great. Pay you compliments. And then, you ask me about something and I tell you a negative. That's what's going to resonate in your mind and your memory. And so, just the same, by that same token, on the flip side, I could, if you were to measure the amount of intensity that you put behind the appreciation versus the intensity that you put behind missing an appointment or not getting an appointment, or, you know what I'm saying? You would have to say that you put more emphasis on the negative. And so I had to own my end of it and be understanding. So I took the form and I contacted them myself, and I just made my own appointment. But the soonest they could do it was at the end of August. And it's brutal because I go to shows and I'm struggling. I'm having to take all these steps so I don't, when I sing, that it sounds good. Focus on it, having to sing from the right space in your pushing from the right parts of your body, and focusing on technique and things, But regardless, you burn out at one point or another because there's something physically wrong with you. And anyway, there was a couple of things. It just compiled. It piled up. I had a procedure done where they had made some cuts, and I needed to have it treated, and I couldn't reach it where the cuts were. And she promised that she was going to put some antibiotic and treat it and cover it, And I ended up, she did it one time and then it just didn't happen anymore. And she said I gave her a hard time about that. It was more like I just wanted it done and I was powerless to do it myself. Like, So it was things like that. And she's not my secretary, she's not my stay-at-home nurse or any of those things, and I have to kind of own that and be like, I get it, whatever. But I'm speaking about this in parallel to the fact that I do appreciate it, and I was about to bring up birthdays. So the other night I was sitting around, and we're watching, and this thing came on the screen about, the storyline was about somebody celebrating. They were getting married and they didn't have anybody that was going to come celebrate with them. And when your mind tangents and just beelines to an aspect of your own personal life, and I was thinking about my birthday coming up, and I have this thing where my birthday is not posted on any social media like platform. It's not anywhere on purpose, because I feel like the love that's given is sort of plastic or not completely real. And I know that's not a popular opinion. People have a lot going on in their lives. They have a lot in their day-to-day, that they're not concerned with people's birthdays, keeping track of like multitudes of their friends and family's birthdays. But I feel like that there's a set of people that, or like people that are close to you, that when they reach out to you organically and and wish you well, or like pay, like that, it's and not like on the general days like Christmas, or like the holidays where it's you're basically going down your contact list and blasting everybody with like an emoji of a turkey and saying Happy Thanksgiving. I'm talking about like, there's just, I've talked about it a little bit before on the show. when you somebody passes away, right? And then all of a sudden they come out of the woodwork and everybody's like so devastated, like somebody died, whatever. And it's transparent. You could tell the difference between, like, just recently, Shannon Doherty. Am I saying that right? I'm not going to pretend like I know everybody's names, but she passed away, obviously, and there was that Kevin Smith gave this very heartfelt message about his friend, somebody he worked with early in his career and over time, and it, and I felt for him, you know what I mean, and he chose to post in his opinion, his eulogy, or a testimony about his friend online, and it felt authentic, it felt real, it felt like genuine, as opposed to like just random people listing out all of the people that have passed in the past 7 days, and I don't know. I've always had a problem with that, or being the first one on your in your group to to call out somebody who's died. Whatever works for you, man. I mean, I get it. I just feel like it's not something that that I like. I don't like it. By that same token, if Tom Hardy had this thing, was it Leonardo DiCaprio or Tom Hardy? You know, these days you don't even know if the quote is attributed to the person. Where it says, you know, it'll have the quote and then a photograph of the person, or it'll say it's from the person, and then you come to find out it's like nothing. Like attributing what doesn't kill you makes you stronger or something, and then it has a big, you know, it says oh my god, Kelly Clarkson, right? But it was actually Kafka that said that. Oh god, is that true? Hold on. I'm glad I have my computer here in front of me. I'm trying to like, I don't know, what an example. I always think that, say Kelly Clarkson comes up as quote. Who said? Is that how you say it? Who said? That'll be fine, right? Originally. Oh, well, see, I'm so glad I looked it up. It was Nietzsche that said that. See, that's how I'm telling you. Y'all would have gone home and told your friends, oh, that Kafka said it, and Kafka didn't say it. Or maybe, you know, who knows these days? Maybe he did. No, it was Nietzsche who said it in the 19th century. Oh my god. Anyway, Kafka, I'm sure, said some important shit. Let's just leave it at that. But, anyway, I'm going to leave this thing open because I've been having a lot of questions today. I was about to type in, but this one in particular, I didn't mean to get sidetracked, was something having to do with, it was Tom Hardy that they attributed to. And they said that if you have a problem with me, like, it was like, call me or message me. I don't know how he said it. If you don't have my number, then you don't, like, I don't know you well enough for you to tell me your problem with me. I just typed that in, and it said type Tom Hardy quotes, and then it gave like a bajillion of them. Like, I didn't know that guy had a lot to say. Well, I'm sure you didn't say that, friend. Whatever. Anyway, it was, you know, I'm telling you that some of these are fake as all get out, but and I just butchered the crap out of what I just said. But the point being that if people really care about you on a real level, then you want to celebrate things about them, like, then you'll know the things. You'll it'll be like, I messaged my and the funny thing is, so many people were born in August. My sister, my mom, her kids, that it's hard to remember the exact day of birthdays, but I always try to. But I'll message my brother. And I knew my father's and my brother's and my sister and my mom. I knew their birthdays. Even though sometimes, like, you know, life happens or whatever, but I guess what I'm saying is, if And maybe it's not the biggest deal. Maybe I like it better when people just call and or write and say, how you been? You doing all right? Than to even get a happy birthday. I would rather be like, hey, I was just thinking about you and I wanted to hit you up and see how you're doing. Would reach me on a deeper level than if somebody, put a candy cane or like a Santa Claus emoji and it said, happy Christmas to you and yours or whatever. To you and plus 22, others that were in bulk message mode or whatever. Anyway, but so the reason why I was thinking about taking things for granted and birthdays in the same breath, a friend of mine was telling me a story about there was a young man and he has a kick-ass wife. And a couple kids, and everybody in his family got together, and they asked ahead of time, like, we would like to do something for you for your birthday, and they went out and bought all this stuff, fancy dinner, decorations, cakes, the whole bit. I mean, they decked out the whole house, right? And everything to celebrate this dude. And he calls and says, I decided to go out with some friends, be home later. And his kick-ass wife or whatever was like, you know what? Okay. Didn't argue it, didn't fight it, didn't remind him that they had done all this, or had said they were going to do something for him. She just let it go and said, all right, cool. Now, he had other family members that went out and found him where he was at, like his own siblings and stuff, and ripped him a new one. But, I couldn't imagine. I mean, sometimes the things that are done for you are more about the people that you love than they are for you. Like my daughter, she'll get me something for my birthday. And it doesn't matter what it is, but it has more to do with her wanting to do a kindness for me, and it fills her with joy to do it. And the cake, that she'll get me a little cake and she'll decorate with my wife though, and it'll just be the two of them. But I couldn't imagine if my family got out together and did something, or my friends got together and did something. It would blow my mind. But for them to do it, for this dude, and for him to be like, it just is such a slap in the face. You know what I mean? Like, talk about not knowing what you got till it's gone. It's incredible. And I thought maybe that's youth, maybe that's being young, but also no, that's just taking for granted, on a fundamental level, and it impacted me. And I think what happened was we had quite a few people come out to our show the night before I heard this story. And when I was speaking to one of this big group that was at my show, they had said they came across the country, all the way from Maryland, because a friend of theirs died. And the friend that passed away was from here. So they crossed the country to be where their friend was going to be buried, because he was going to be buried where he came from. And well, a good 20 friends from Maryland were all sitting there trying to catch up and to visit with each other, because they all had lives independent of each other in Maryland. But their common thread was this young man. And the man had a wife and a child, and his wife was 8 months pregnant with their next child. He had just finished his, how do you say, where you're a doctor and you're doing rounds or whatever. You're working at a hospital. He had just finished. He was now a fresh new emergency doctor. Was the story they told me, and just killed in a car accident, just from 1 second to the next. Just here with your family and loved, and the next gone. And then as a testament to how much this young man was loved, all these people came from across the country to say their goodbyes. And that comparison, just the next day when I hear this dude just take it for granted and blow it off, just, I don't know, it hit me in just such a way that I was just like, man, I don't know. And lately, I guess, and that's another, I guess, dimension to it, is people, or myself, I can only speak for myself, but I get a bit nostalgic and a bit melancholy around my birthday. More so than normal, where you start, I don't know. There was a line from a movie where he says that you come to a point in your life where you have more years behind you than you have ahead of you, and so it gets you kind of thinking, you know what I mean, as far as what is important, what's real, and what's not. And you can't put a lot of weight into like the I don't know, some of these folks that are I'll tell you, I wasn't in social media. I wasn't a part of the whole bit during the last election, where everybody was polarized and people were dropping people if they didn't have the same political leanings as they did. I wasn't around for it. And so I had a little taste of it recently when there was the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And every now and then you get somebody because I don't know if I've gotten into this on the podcast, but I had to start doing social media because I've only been the past 2 years. I'm coming up on my third year online because of the podcast, and trying to learn how to promote it in any respect, and when some things having to do with that, right? So every now and then you'll get somebody who will make a political joke or say something, and you're just kind of, I guess, dude. But I mean, it's gross. Like, really, you have to think about it. Like, I'm not going to get into politics with you today. I mean, I'm not going to say that I lean one way or the other. I think that we have a binary culture where it disgusts me that we can only see things in terms of red or blue, Democratic, Republican. We only can, and that by default it's going to be the incumbent on the Democratic side, or whoever was the last. You know what I mean? And that we can't, as a society, see through the corruption and the just how manipulated our political system is, with the money that goes into it, and the lobbyists and the financial contributors to the party, and how really there's not a fundamental difference between the two in terms of once they get into office, it's just the same stagnant BS that it's same crap, different day, you know what I mean? But I saw today they were saying something about Donald Trump getting hit on the right ear was like a sign from God. And I was like, just stop. I mean, isn't this the same guy that said he was going to grab somebody by the hoo-ha? I mean, let's not bring God into this guy, you know what I mean, toward this situation. I mean, can we just not? I don't know. I think I don't like that politics feels like a circus. I worry about effective change and having anything take us in the right direction to make things better. But I think when you're caught up in this charade of one versus the other, and it being about making fun of one or the other, and the lesser of these two evils, and that's an expression. I'm not saying they're evil. I'm not saying that, but we live in such a scary time where I couldn't tell you who Trump is. I couldn't tell you who Biden is. Really. There's so much mudslinging and manipulation of the media and the depiction of these characters that I don't know if what I see is the reality of who these people are. They almost seem like exaggerated caricatures of who they are. And I don't know. But that just sort of popped in my head. But here's the thing, and I've said this for, I remember being in college and I was talking to these young kids in my class, and now more than ever, this is true. When, if you could take the hot Tui girl and make her a worldwide phenomena and have everybody know who she is, then a candidate that was the right person for the job should be able to work the system and become a national phenomena, and be able to work the system and get votes on an independent ticket. I mean, I don't understand how that's not true. You know what I mean? I mean, Jon Stewart, I don't even think I think he's the most balanced person that I know. And he has a worldwide platform. I don't know why he couldn't just go out and get a you know what I mean, a team together and promote themselves. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's just crazy talk. I just don't understand it, and I hate it when I don't understand it. So, all right, that's enough of that. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Not posting date. Oh, fake. Oh, I talked about that. I'm reading my crappy writing on the board because I make notes about what I wanted to talk about. So I apologize if that sounds weird. I apologize. Yeah, so my wife, her birthday is a week apart from mine. And she ordered herself a present. Like she's crossed that threshold of I mean, I've talked about this in the past, but it used to be she would make a few suggestions and of saying exactly what she wanted for her birthday or for Christmas. And I would go and I would pick of those things, you know, and that's evolved to being where she says, yeah, I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna ship it to the house and then I want you to wrap it and that's what I'm gonna open for my birthday. You know, if I have some money, like I'll buy her an additional present, and surprise her, you know. But yeah, that's her new thing is like, she's like, send me a couple ideas and I'll order you whatever you need, you know. There is a danger with that, though. I'll tell you. I was going to get into this a little baby bit, but we had talked on the last episode about making lists and effective goal setting and all that. But my bike broke. I have like several things that I need to fix on the bike. And then she says, well, we're going to get it fixed, but we're going to get it fixed for your birthday. Because I had ordered some parts for the bike. And she didn't submit the order because she decided that that's going to be the birthday present. She's going to get the bike fixed up and whatever. But then now I'm not riding a bike for like several weeks. And so it's sort of putting a wrench, no pun intended, in my exercises and my list making, because part of the list is like, you know, I'm going to set a certain number of times that I'm going to do X, Y, or Z. And like, anyway. And when you pull far back enough and you zoom out and try to understand the situation, it just sounds like excuses to me. So I'm just going to kind of have to get over that. But yeah. So also when it comes to being that time of year to my birthday, I really get serious about doing some of the things that I want to check off and get some tangible like accomplishments between here and the birthday, right? And I super cleaned out this closet of all these clothes that, you know, I bought. And, you know, you buy certain things and you're like, well, when I lose a little weight, I'll put it on. And it's one of those you have to put up or shut up. Like you've had it so long that if you lose the weight, it's not even going to be in, you know, in style by any reason. You'll have to wait for it to come back around, you know, because you took that long to, you know. I'm still trying to rock my Genco jeans. I'm just kidding. That's not true. But yeah, so. But I really went hard and cleaned that out, the closet. Okay. But anyway, I was making fun of her the other day because of I had this really effective budget, but she's in charge of the budget and spending. And then I was noticing that she was getting a little spendy. And then she said something the other day about she didn't understand how there must be something wrong with the budget because it, you know, where's all this money that's supposed to be for? And I wanted to just, because I try to like have a standoff approach and just let her do it. You know what I mean? But it's like you can't eat out like 3-4 times a week and then talk to me about like where'd the money go, right? Anyway, she lives hard. She works hard. I'm not going to blame her for that. My daughter has a dental surgery tomorrow morning. I'm always talking about how my daughter has all these surgeries, but tomorrow she's having one. And I can't be there with her. And it drives me a little, it upsets me a little bit. But she has racked in more surgeries and more like these kind of things than my wife and I combined. It's ridiculous. Like I feel so bad for the amount of times that this child has had to go under and get work done. If there's a quota, like a certain amount that you check off and then not have to do it anymore, I think she's reached it and she should be fine. Like she should just be cool and not have to do it, you know, like moving forward. But anyway, I'm really excited about how many folks are coming by and visiting. I think that this is the last episode of the season. I mean, it's not like we're doing any sort of cliffhanger big time, you know, but if I'm not mistaken, this would be the last episode of the second season. I say every year 52 episodes is a season, and so next I look forward to the third season. I really want some folks to message me again on lostlikeMike@gmail.com. So if you'd like to message me on any of the platforms, it's just hard for me to check them all. The easiest way is for you to message me directly at lostlikeMike@gmail.com. And we'll make it an interactive conversation. And I appreciate you visiting, and we'll see you next time. Take care.